Last video, I told you the first thing to build before you hire your next person probably wasn't what you thought. Here it is. It's not a job posting. It's not an onboarding checklist. It's not even a training manual. It's a work standard. A documented, written down definition of how the work gets done. Not how you think it gets done. Not how it gets done on a good day when your best person is on the job. How it should get done every time by anyone. If that doesn't exist before you bring on your next hire, you're not building a team, you're just multiplying the chaos. Here's the reality in most small trades operations. The person who built the business knows exactly how the work should be done. They've done it hundreds of times, maybe thousands. They have an instinct for quality that they can't always put into words. But they know when something's right, and they know immediately when it's not. That knowledge lives entirely in their head. And the moment they hand work off to someone else, whether that's an employee, a subcontractor, or a second crew, that knowledge doesn't transfer automatically. So the new person figures it out their own way. Maybe they do it close to right, maybe they don't. And now you have two people doing the same job two different ways and no benchmark to measure either one against. A callback comes in, a customer complains, and you have no way to know if it was a skill issue, a material issue, or just someone who made a different call in the field because nobody told them what the right call was. You can't hold someone accountable to a standard that was never communicated. You can't train to something that was never written down. And you can't scale a team if the knowledge of how to do the job right exists only in one person's head. Let me be clear about what I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about a 50-page operations manual. I'm not talking about a corporate quality program or an ISO certification. I'm not talking about anything that takes months to build. I'm talking about a simple, written answer to these questions for every type of work your company does. What does good look like? What are the steps from start to finish? What gets checked before the job is considered done? What does the customer see and experience from first contact to final walkthrough? That's it. 1 to 2 pages per job type. A checklist your crew takes to the job. Clear enough that someone new could follow it on their first week. The goal isn't to document every possible scenario. The goal is consistency. A team that executes to a written standard will outperform a team working from memory every single time. Not because they're more skilled, but because they're aligned. Consistency is what eliminates rework. Consistency is what makes callbacks predictable and preventable. Consistency is what lets you train a new hire in days instead of months. And consistency is what lets you warranty your work with confidence. So how do you build one if you don't have one? Start by watching your best person do the job. Don't coach them. Don't interrupt. Just observe and write down every step they take, every decision they make, everything they check before they move on or call the job complete. That's your first draft. Then take that draft to your second best person. Walk through it with them. Ask where their process is different. Have the conversation about which approach produces the better result. Decide together and write that decision down. Now you have a working standard. From there, you build a simple job checklist. 1 page, broken into 3 phases. Before the work starts, during the work, and before you leave the job. 3 columns, task, initials, date. That checklist goes to every job, with every crew, every time. No exceptions. first version won't be perfect. That's fine. You update it when something goes wrong, when a callback reveals a gap, when a process changes. It's a living document, not a stone tablet. But it has to exist before any of that improvement is possible. Verbal standards are not standards. They're suggestions. And suggestions don't scale. Once you have a work standard, even a rough first version, something shifts. You have something to train to, something to hold people accountable to, a baseline to measure quality against, and the foundation that every other operational system in your business depends on. Because here's the thing, job costing only works if the work is being done consistently. Scheduling only works if you know how long a job actually takes. Estimating only works if you know exactly what the job requires. Everything downstream depends on this one thing being in place first. Next video, we're going to talk about what it actually costs to price a job from the contractor side and the customer side, why quotes vary so much, and what's actually hiding inside the number. If you're finding this useful, subscribe, drop a comment, tell me where you are in your operation right now. Crew lead, project manager, owner, I want to know who's in the room. That's it. See you in the next video.